Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here, starting sort of kind of game week, we hope, heading into the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss and Baylor, New Year's Day night. 7:45 is the earliest the game can start. It could go a little later depending on the Rose Bowl I saw. So anyway, sometime around there as we head toward January 1st. Hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Probably still going for some of you, but anyway, we're back here on Monday. We'll talk about the rules around the game. We'll talk about Ole Miss leaving not when we first started, or when they first thought they were leaving, and much more. We've had some bowl cancellations around the country, and what that kind of means moving forward. SEC basketball also beginning this week. Ole Miss in Florida, December 29th. From the Pavilion here in Oxford. So,
the reason for the title, people are asking, is because we intended. The plan this morning until last week was we were going to New Orleans today.
Yeah.
I was going to load the MPW Digital pregame show because I wasn't planning to take all of this equipment down with me to New Orleans.
We were going to take a mini studio and do audio-only podcast was the plan.
Yeah, very many.
Yeah.
We weren't taking all this. No, no chance.
Neal was going to pack this computer up and head it on down with him.
So that's what we had planned. And so this is not what we had planned.
Yeah.
We didn't have plans to do a week's
What is the title?
Well, this isn't what we planned.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry.
People are like, this is ominous.
I can only see, this, ... So
yeah, it's not meant to be ominous. It's meant to just point out that
it was not what was
everything
intended.
has changed, and I think it's debatable as to why everything has changed. But now instead of Ole Miss and Baylor practicing, Ole Miss was supposed to arrive in New Orleans yesterday. Baylor was supposed to arrive today.
That's correct.
Instead, both teams are arriving on Wednesday.
Correct. Yes.
So all the media stuff is Zoom until Saturday night when after the game, at least as of now, there's a little bit of in-person, very little, no field access.
No locker room access.
No locker room stuff. No one-on-ones. Everything is very locked down.
Yeah, and we'll get into what that typically looks like versus what it looks like right now as well. So anyway,
that's the reason for the title.
Yeah, podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. They still trying to give you some money right now. They do that by just taking your phone out when you're at the pump there at any Blue Sky location in Mississippi, taking a picture of the QR code. That's going to pop up something. You hit a couple buttons, you get $10. You can use it right there on the tank that you are filling up at the moment. 1,000 points. 1,000 points equals $10 with the Exxon mobile app. So take advantage of that and much more. Lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink, and plenty more there at the Blue Sky and the Oxford Exxon. Again, come to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for my buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford products you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place this week if you're getting ready for New Year's celebrations and whatnot. Want to watch the bowl games that are still being played. Some are, some aren't. But the ones that are will be on television. You can watch them there at Rafters. Enjoy a burger or a po' boy. Great beer selection, full bar. Appetizers and more at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany. Our Sugar Bowl coverage this week is brought to you by the Clearwater Group. We have a lot of listeners who are either business owners or executives for a variety of different companies. Periodically, I know that many of them have projects or issues being dealt with by our state legislature or one of the numerous state agencies in Jackson. So no matter what, you have to get it dealt with, and you want to make sure you get the best results possible for your business. So if you need guidance for how to successfully navigate through state government, I recommend you reach out to the Clearwater Group. The Clearwater Group has been working with Chase and me for years. They're in the lobbying business. They have an exceptional reputation in this world, and that really matters. So if you need some guidance on how to move forward on an issue with state government or even larger local governments, you should reach out to them and get their advice. Just email them at austin@clearwatergroup.ms. Again, Austin AUSTIN, at clearwatergroup.ms, or look them up on the web at clearwatergroup.ms.
Other than causing some trouble on Christmas night, did you have a good Christmas? Everything good?
Yeah.
You cooked a hell of a meat dish or two. I saw you had some stuff going on.
Yeah, we had a good Christmas. It was fun. I had to kind of improvise a little bit because the spring on the back of my Big Green Egg broke on Christmas Day.
You've had a lot of issues. You've had some egg issues.
Yeah, I said this on the Christmas.
Are you doing something wrong?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's the first time that I've gotten close to
moving on. Maybe
checking out some of the others. There's a couple other ones that get mentioned a lot that I sometimes think about. So, but yeah, I did kind of a beef plate, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really good. I think
it wasn't a beef plate; it was a beef platter. There was a lot of beef. It was not a plate of beef.
That's true. It was a lot of beef. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I like grilling and smoking and all that stuff better than most people, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It worked out really well. I think I have figured out the way to do beef tenderloin. I know other people. This is go on the internet and read about beef tenderloin, and you can see people fighting about how to do beef tenderloin. So I'm not telling you that this is the way. I am telling you that I think for me moving forward, it's going to be my way.
I will say you got a little excited even just reciting it yesterday. Like you were there was a certain tenor in your voice, if you will. So.
Yeah, it worked out great. I kind of had a plan. Yeah. I executed the plan, and the results were really good. You know, it's all about process. Everything is not about result, but at the end of the day, it is about result. You didn't go this far. You didn't get this far to make it this far.
So your only issue is when you open the egg, if you weren't careful, it could all topple over.
Yes.
And could actually fall over or just fall back and make a loud sound and be kind of weird.
Oh, I wasn't confident that the dome was officially attached, so I was
were you really?
Super careful.
Oh.
Had to use,
That's a problem.
Ended up actually, once I got everything seared, I ended up moving to the gas grill.
Oh, did you?
And incorporated the oven more than usual.
Okay.
And moving forward, I
had a little harder time regulating temperature over the weekend, and that's not typically a problem, but I'm wondering, that felt user error. I don't really know what I did, but I was having a really hard time regulating temperature.
No, I think a lot of people have that issue. I have some.
You got some questions?
I mean, I do. I mean, I think you can be number one for a long time and rest on your laurels, and I sometimes kind of think that.
Yeah. I've had the rec tech a couple times and went, simple.
Yeah.
Real simple. But not so simple like you're cheating. Like, with all due respect to my buddies that have them, including I gave one away, like, the Masterbuilt smoker is too easy. Like, I don't feel any accomplishment. I feel like I just stuck some meat in the refrigerator, I hit a couple buttons, and then I moved on. Like, something in the middle where I know there's precision.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you did something.
Well, and part of the design is for it to be user complicated enough that you have to be out there with it.
No, that's a key.
It's kind of like all the COVID tests right before
Christmas.
Because
I think that's something with like the rec tech or whatever. Because I was making fun of Malloy for using one because he had used his stimulus check on a couple years ago. He admitted on the show. I'm not taking anything. And he had bought the thing, and I was like, you just got it, whatever. And he's like, you know what my accomplishment is? When I get the meat off, it's perfect. And I went, you know what? Okay. Like, you have a trump card there. You're playing it. Okay, sure. We're going to move on. So it's no, look, the Masterbuilt has its place. But, you don't have to stand with it at all. There's a remote.
So now you have
to never even have to. Well, actually, you're supposed to not look at it. And then, two, there is no interactivity at all. It's just do whatever and move on. So,
a couple of things from the stream. Leif says, morning, everyone. Anyone else get a positive pregnancy test for Christmas? No, thank God. He says, yes, the quick math is I'll be 62 when my youngest graduates high school. Congratulations. That's awesome. And Christopher says Neal just wanted to say that I really enjoy the Christmas night show. Seems like a pretty cool tradition has been started. Yeah, the girls were really excited about it. It was a lot of fun. We had a stream issue. I should have reset the computer before I did it. Skype, when you took a call.
And caused some problems.
When you ended the call, for whatever reason, Ecamm wanted to end the stream.
Oh, really?
So
that's not good.
We got it fixed, but it was fine.
Okay.
I said it was fine. I woke up the next morning and found out that some people, at least one person, thought it wasn't fine.
Oh well.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Very frustrated. Very, very frustrated.
Yeah, and
you want to save it or you want to do it now?
No,
we got stuff. Do you want to go? Or
no,
you
we'll do it
wait?
later. We'll do it later.
Okay. Kyle, good morning.
Yeah,
Thanks
good morning,
to have
Kyle. Thank you.
you. All right, real quick, because I'm kind of scatterbrained. All right, some bowls have been canceled.
Fenway Bowl's canceled.
Fenway Bowl's canceled. Military Bowl is canceled.
Sun Bowl.
Sun Bowl. Miami, Virginia.
Although, wouldn't it be super simple right now? Because Washington State is in El Paso. Wouldn't it be super simple to call SMU and go, hey, fellas,
Yeah.
go to El Paso and play them?
Yeah.
New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
game was scheduled to be played at 11 a.m. on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So what?
You got time. We'll help you out. We'll get you over there. It's all good. Yeah, yeah.
Watch some film, whatever. It doesn't matter. Have a beer.
Yeah. Run some plays.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't you do that? They don't appear to be willing to do that.
Is it because fans may not head over at all because they've already paid all the? Because look, here's where it sucks, and here's where I am kind of pissed off for people.
Sure,
is fans are screwed in this when it happens this close. They've made all these hotel reservations, they've made dinner reservations, they've made travel things that aren't always refundable. I mean, you've got fans that are out a ton of money from an actual thing that they are not attending. And then two, taking up for the fan a little bit here, you're asking the fans to do a lot of damn shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
NILs and tickets and all these different things that are going on at different schools depending on the size of the school and what's going on.
Yep.
And now, look, if you have an actual medical thing, okay, great. Nobody's saying, hey, go, whatever. But some teams are ducking here. There are teams strictly ducking, using a lot of different reasons for excuses to not play big games. And who you're actually screwing is your fan base at this point. And it's kind of ridiculous. Sort of where I'm sitting this morning.
Yeah, Ginger asked a question, will anyone miss those bowls? It's not really, and the answer to your question is no, any more than, look, there's only 2 games that really matter. I mean, if we're just being right down to the nitty-gritty on this, only 2 games have ramifications. Is that fair?
Sure.
Cincinnati versus Alabama has a ramification.
Well, those are the only 2 that are changing any structure to the sport. Yeah.
They're the only 2 that have ramifications.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't say it out loud, Will, but yes.
So, does anyone miss the Sun Bowl? No. But
the Miami fan who spent $1,500 to get over there does.
The Washington State team is in El Paso.
Yeah. Memphis was in Hawaii.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Hawaii, less than 24 hours before the freaking kickoff.
And so Hawaii did that because what? See, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm willing to have this conversation because I don't know that I'm right either.
Okay.
So I'm not dug in here with my heels.
Okay.
But and you weren't necessarily talking about Hawaii when you said this.
I know nothing about the Hawaii program.
But when people go, well, Hawaii just was ducking Memphis.
There's no reason for Hawaii to duck Memphis. It's 4 hours before the game. They're already at home anyway. What difference does it make? You're just
and
nobody
cares. Nobody will ever remember who won the Hawaii Bowl. The one thing that will now be remembered about the Hawaii Bowl was who was the sponsor? It was like, hold on, I got
Easy
Post or
something like that.
They sent a media guy over to do social media, and he went to the empty stadium at the time of the game and did social media for about 4 hours, and it was really funny.
Which is fine.
Yeah, kudos to him. I mean, he got, or her, whoever it was. It was funny. I think it was a guy because I saw a picture of him. But what's that about? I mean, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Why the day before a game are you doing you know what, we've got some COVID issues, when from what I've read, they really didn't have any COVID issues. What is that about?
I don't know. I have no clue. My problem with what A&M did, because Grimes mentions that we got so many players, I'm so sick of, hey, here's the number of players we got available when a large number of it is opt-outs and transfers. That's as Richard said on Super Talk the other day when I was driving, that's a you problem. That's not an us problem.
No, absolutely.
That's your fault. That should not impede what you are doing at this point.
And Texas A&M
and A&M is getting a reputation because A&M could have played Ole Miss last season on the original date that the game was canceled.
Yeah, they were just going to play a different quarterback.
Oh, A&M did not play that game against Ole Miss because Kellen Mond was unavailable. That is why they did not play that game.
And here's the thing. Would it really have mattered? Would it really have mattered if A&M had played Ole Miss last year and lost? Would anything have changed?
No. Nothing.
It cost A&M $8 million per Ross Bjork. That's my source.
Okay.
So would anything have changed if Ole Miss had won that game?
No.
Other than some bragging rights between a fan base? But beyond that, which is not a big deal, beyond that, nothing would have changed. So A&M was supposed to play where? When?
Gator Bowl.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
So Texas A&M, 10 days before that game, says we can't play. And no one holds – and this is my thing. This is why I'm very critical of media here.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as you just say, hey, COVID, it's the catch-all. It's the get-out-of-jail-free card. Media go, okay, oh, cool. Oh, yeah, oh, you're compassionate. You're being responsible. You're telling me Texas A&M couldn't have sent 45 players over to Jacksonville to play a bowl game? And would anyone have – if A&M beats Wake Forest, does it change the projection of their program? No. If A&M loses to Wake Forest, does it change the projection of their program? No. But what about the Wake Forest fans who – Wake Forest doesn't go to a New Year's Day or New Year's Eve bowl routinely. What about the Wake Forest fans? I don't care if someone goes, well, only 200 of them. Okay, well, then I'm going to stand up for those 200 people.
Yeah, sure. And instead of getting A&M and being all pumped, you play a 5-6 Rutgers team, or whatever the hell they are, 5-7.
5-7. Thank goodness they at least got to play a game. I mean, kudos to Greg Schiano and Rutgers for going, we'll play. Brett Bielema at Illinois, we'll play.
Yeah, sure.
Find us a spot. We'll reconvene and we'll figure it out and we'll go down and play a football game because at the end of the day, it's just a bowl game. No one's ever going to remember who won the Gasparilla Bowl. No one. That's not what bowls are for. This is my problem with a lot of what's going, as we get into it in a minute, with the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, go ahead.
My problem with it is that bowls, by definition, are rewards.
Yes.
For the players, for the coaches, for the fans. They're rewards. The Central Michigan, Boise State, Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl has no ramifications. No one cares. There is no punishment for Central Michigan if it loses. No. It's a bowl game. It's not a playoff game. It's a bowl game. And so when you start canceling games that you probably could have played and you use the great catch-all excuse, and I do think that's what it is, at some point there's a credibility thing, and at some point you need to I think you should sit back and say, no, what are we accomplishing here?
Yeah, there's a couple of levels to that. That's actually good. We're going to go to break because I don't want to get caught in a topic in a second, and I'll actually remember what I was going to say. But Gig makes a good point in the chat. He goes, I'd have been angry if Pitt had canceled the Birmingham Bowl in 2013. It was a meaningless game. Yeah, Ole Miss fans would have been freaking livid. That's a good example.
Of course.
Get back to the game. You got a game, and he goes, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Been deflating.
So Wake Forest had a really nice year. Their reward was they were going to get and they're still going to get to play, but their reward was the Gator Bowl. It's a reward for the players. You go down and you spend a week at the bowl site and you practice in weird places and you do all that stuff and you hang out with your teammates. And for a lot of guys, this is the end, Chase. This is the end of the road. This is as far as you go. So you got that last week. Hang out with your buddies the season started in January. I mean, let's be clear here. Ole Miss is going to play, hopefully, on New Year's night. They'll split up on the 2nd. They'll reconvene in Oxford sometime around the 15th, and it's go time.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll go through off-season workouts, spring, more off-season workouts, summer of waking up at 5 in the morning to run your ass off at 6 and then go lift and all that stuff. Fall camp, 12 games, all so that you can earn a reward at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you start taking the reward away, it's kind of it's I don't know, it defeats some of the purpose to me. I mean, like if I'm an SMU player today, that's it. So that's how it ends. We're supposed to play this game. That's the conclusion.
Yeah, and not the game. Supposed to have the week. Supposed to have the event.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the game.
It's not the game. The game's for the fans.
Yeah. the week.
The week is for the players.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm winning and losing games. I don't think the national media goes, you know what, Ole Miss is 12-2 in their last 14 bowl games.
No.
My God.
No.
Look at the Rebels. They got the best bowl winning percentage in the country. No, nobody knows that.
Even a lot of Ole Miss fans don't
nobody
know
knows that.
Right. That's not how it works.
No. So, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis, so you're getting local underwriting and understand your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Walk On Sports Bistro. They put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into the mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp. Fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, quality fresh ingredients you can't help but crave. 1737B University Avenue in Oxford and 720 Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. Walk On's Sports Bistro, more than a restaurant. If you want to bet on some of the bowl games that do get played, highly recommend BroThrow. It's a social sports betting network, free to use. It's a really cool, fun way to bet. No third party, so there's no juice. Over time, that's going to save you money. You can start your own group, make friends, invite your friends. Payment happens within 24 hours of the conclusion of your bet. You can take the other side of an existing bet, start a new bet, and more. Bet.brothrow.com. We're also brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. If you're looking for, it's supposed to get, it's hot this week.
Yep.
Saturday, it's supposed to get cold. There are actually some snow flurries in the forecast for Sunday. So if you're headed out hunting or whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you've got all the gear that you need. Go to muddywateroutdoors.com. Enter the promo code Rebel Grove. Get 35% off any products from the site. Free shipping on orders of $100 or more. As far as I know, the holiday 2021 sale is still going on at Dead Soxy. 25% off any order with the code Rebel Grove. 30% off any order with the code Holiday 30 if you order $120 or more. If you order $240 or more, you get 40% off with Holiday 40 as your code. Free shipping on orders of $60 or more at deadsoxy.com. And it's still the holiday season. Christmas has come and gone, but New Year's party's right around the corner. You got bowls, NFL playoffs, all that stuff. So you want to make sure you're ready. With Game Changer Patch Company, they help you prepare. They're the only two-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch is used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for the next play. It's GameChangerPatch.com. Enter the promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase.
Podcast is also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. G&M, they're on South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222. They will deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. So one trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need when you need it there with G&M. So your community pharmacy choice, 662-236-2222. Yeah, you know, I mean, it was your point. And I'll let you kind of take it. I'll set it up. But we're doing all this all week. It's all on Zoom, except, as you mentioned in the open, after the game. Well, what is the difference after the game? It is that the game is actually over, and at that point, it is irrelevant to the Sugar Bowl, at least, whether anyone does any.
Are you saying that the Sugar Bowl is not concerned about the health of the student athletes and coaches after the game is over?
Those are your words. I'm saying that it's a little fishy when you look at the schedule and that everything all week long is video. There's nothing in person whatsoever, including head coach press conferences with somebody at a podium that is going to be the same distance or even farther away in that conference room the way it's set up, because we've all been to these bowls and we know how far they are. Mm-hmm. Versus the post-game after the game when the head coach is in person and two players are in person for each team. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, it's okay to do the in-person. And the only difference is the game has already been played at that point. That is maybe the most tangible thing to this entire situation.
Look, I'm trying to cover all the bases here.
Okay.
It's possible.
Hold on. You've got a reason for this?
Listen, there's science. It is possible that they have determined that the air quality inside the Superdome media area is better from a filtration standpoint than it is at the Marriott Warehouse District.
Correct.
maybe they have determined that if you put people together in the Marriott, the air system is such that it's a freaking breeding ground. But if you do it in the Superdome, where the air is super, thus the moniker Superdome, it's safe.
Okay.
Or it's possible that they feel like Friday is going to be closer to the peak than Saturday night, that by Saturday night, conditions would have deteriorated to a point where it would not be quite as dangerous. But only if it's a player and two players and a coach. If you were to go to 3 players, well, now, that's why they're doing the excess players on Zooms.
I'm just saying that defeats the entire argument of the week, in my opinion, is when you change the rules for when the game is
Of course it does. It's all
over,
insanity.
It makes no sense.
It's like the whole thing about the players reporting to Oxford and Waco instead of New Orleans. If you're on planes, someone's got to help me here.
It's actually an additional plane. Because now you got to get together as a team and fly.
If you're on a plane on the 26th of December, which was from the pictures yesterday, a mass chaos day at airports all over the country. If you're on a plane flying to Memphis or on a plane flying to New Orleans, from a, quote, exposure standpoint, isn't the risk basically the same? It's sort of like a hodgepodge of risk, I'm guessing, sure. Right? So what's the difference? People say, well, if you can't control them in New Orleans. All right, couple things. Yes, you can, because they're all in the same hotel. You can do bed checks and everything. If you think that they're not going to do anything in Oxford, you've either never been a college kid, never been around a college kid, or just don't understand human nature. Funky's is going to be open tonight. Rafters is going to be open tonight. I'm sure there are other bars in Oxford that I don't even know exist. The library is
all be open.
They're going to be open,
yeah.
And people can go in and congregate and see one another and socialize, which is kind of what college people do. My kids have been home since, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks? No, 1 week. They've gone out every night to do something. That's just what kids do. So just because these kids happen to throw footballs or catch footballs or run fast or jump high doesn't mean that they're not like other college kids. Well, they're going to go out.
John Doe to not put it on a certain player. You and I talked through this example of the day, how easy this happens of, hey, you bored? Yeah, I'm bored. Done with practice for the day. I'm in school, work, whatever. Hey, you want to go watch that game? Hey, yeah, want to watch that game.
Yeah.
Meet you at Funky's, 6:45. All right, yeah. Suddenly you have a pizza and you got 3 beers and your text came and, hey, Jane Doe showed up and suddenly you're, you know what I mean?
A bunch of guys are meeting at wherever.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, John, yeah. We'll walk over there in a minute.
Yeah, and you got practice the next morning, but
it'll be all right.
Yeah.
They ain't killing them.
No, not now.
Yeah.
This isn't training camp. Nobody the night before one of these practices goes, listen, man.
Tomorrow morning.
You have a beer right now, and you're going to regret this in the morning. No. This isn't.
You're going to run around for a minute. You're going to do a little stretching.
They're going to run some plays.
Yeah.
Have a meeting or two.
They're not going to hit.
No. Nobody's doing any. If you're doing any conditioning, it's very light. The hay has never been more in the barn than it is right now. So all you do when you do this...
Period 2, Oklahoma drills.
So all you do when you do this, I'm not criticizing Lane Kiffin, I'm not criticizing Dave Aranda, I'm not criticizing anybody. But all you do when you do this is just say we really didn't want to go down there that early. My opinion. Because look around the country. Iowa flew to... they reported to Orlando yesterday. Mm-hmm. Alabama reported to Dallas. They went ahead and did it. Nick Saban's like, no, it's all good. I'd rather have my players in one spot.
Yeah. Michigan had just shown yesterday. Georgia was in the air yesterday. They did press conferences this morning.
Arkansas reported to Tampa.
Yeah, I don't know of any other schools other than Ole Miss and Baylor that have taken this option. If there are more, I'm just not aware of it.
I don't get it, frankly. It's okay. But who loses in this? Only one group loses in it.
The players.
The players. They lose that opportunity to have that week.
And it's not like it's going to be game-changing that they go ride some go-karts and have the steak-eating contest, but it's cool. It's neat. It's part of the process. It's part of the reward.
Thank you.
It's part of the whole deal.
You just said the word. It's part of the reward. It's part of the memory. For a lot of these guys, like I don't have the roster in front of me, for a lot of these guys, this is the end of their careers.
Yeah. I had that week in New Orleans. It wasn't that the one event was awesome or whatever. It was that I had the week in New Orleans.
To hang out with your buddies.
Yeah.
So if we're going to really make this about COVID, is there a difference between hanging out in New Orleans and hanging out at Funky's or Rafters or the library or whatever bar that I'm leaving out because I'm not a college kid who lives in Oxford? The Annex or I don't know.
Sure, whatever.
Places. Is there really a difference?
I mean, I'm not saying them out loud. So, no free advertising. But, yeah, that's what you mean.
I mean, is there a difference?
No.
That's my thing. That's all I'm saying. Just kind of has a funny sound to it. And when people go, well, we just thought it would be safer. In what way?
Yeah.
And if you ask that question, you're a jerk.
Because, look, the team,
in what way was it safer?
The guys that are down there, they want to play the game together. They want to get that last time. You get whatever. But, like, Ole Miss is not walking in the Superdome going, oh, my God, we're finally playing in an NFL arena. They do that. Like, yeah,
no, of course.
That's not that.
No.
Matt Corral's not going to have extra juice because he's in the Superdome.
No. But it's not really about Matt Corral.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's about the walk-on linebacker who played scout team all year.
Or even a dude like Jalen Jones that's been around forever and finally getting this one.
Yeah, Jalen's not going in the first round of the draft.
Yeah, dude has been hanging around since 16. He went through all the hell.
Yeah.
And this is his first bowl that wasn't the Outback thing last year.
So that's all you took away. You didn't mitigate the risk of COVID at all. So Jalen, instead of flying from Houston to New Orleans, flew from Houston to Memphis.
He did.
Okay. I mean, there's no difference.
Yeah, like 12 minutes one way or the other.
You're on a plane, is my point. Mm-hmm. So luck of draw as to the people on your plane and how sick they may be.
But again, then you're all congregating as a team, getting on another plane.
And then you get into the thing that, for whatever reason, we in the media just won't talk about. Ole Miss's team is 100% vaccinated, Chase.
That's correct.
Most of them, and I do mean the overwhelming majority, are boosted. So what's the point?
And we haven't had a show. Maybe you mentioned this on Christmas. The reason this all even started for the most part was that the international players had to test to get back into their countries for Christmas.
Right. And I don't know. And
I don't know how many, what. I got nothing.
And I don't know whether they went to Canada or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they had to come back because they were positive or at least one was positive. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that was – because some people going, oh, God, why are you testing? It wasn't that Ole Miss just decided to have a bunch of tests that day. They had to do it to get home.
But then they ended up testing, I think, the whole roster.
Was it the whole roster?
I don't know. They tested a lot of people.
Because at that point, they got into the contact, whatever.
I guess.
Because, like, I'm not going to run through it here, and we got other crap, I guess. But, like, and I told Neal, it was outdated, but it's worth reading Dellinger's story from a few days ago. Because it was discussing the NCAA trying to figure out what they were going to recommend or what they were trying to put in place for not the bowls, but just college athletics and how to move forward right now. And there is such a disagreement that you've got a huge section that says because of the lack of seriousness in the variant from a hospitalization standpoint, you should relax, kind of like the NFL did to make sure you get games in. And then there's another group that says because the transmissibility is so high, you should lock down like early 2020. And these two sides are fighting like hell against one another.
Inside the NCAA.
Inside the doctors that are trying to pitch to the NCAA which direction to go. Yes, that is correct. I mean, it was fairly fascinating, and as Dellinger pointed out, like a lot of things, it's going to come down to conference lines and one league doing one thing, other leagues doing something else, and then you're stuck right there.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on the Greg Sankeys of the world to look concerned.
But like right now,
to look vigilant.
Right now, the SEC's policies are far more lax than the Pac-12.
Yeah,
I mean, as expected.
Yeah,
but they are. So, yeah, again, it's worth the read. Don't get caught up in some of the semantics because it's already moved on and it's outdated and obsolete in some ways. But it was interesting from a thought process on where it was where it was going at that point. Ole Miss, as far as I know, is still leaving sometime on the 29th. They will get down before the 30th or whatever that looks like.
I've heard they're leaving late on the 29th.
Okay. And I would buy that. The rule allowed them to only be on site for 2 days prior to game day, and I'm assuming that meant they had to take part in the normal schedule 2 days. Thus, you leave on the 29th, do the 30th, 31st,
Right,
and then play on the 1st. That is the way I interpreted that.
So you'll get on a Zoom call in New Orleans as opposed to a Zoom call in Oxford.
That is correct, yes. We'll see if more bowls gets canceled. The head of the bowl committee or the whole bowl association, or I don't know, the dude that's over all the bowls. I didn't even know that job existed.
I didn't
apparently
either.
does. There is a dude over all the bowls, and he was very annoyed. He was very frustrated by the policies currently in place.
Sure.
As somebody said it, I forget what media member it was like it was almost like we don't have somebody who runs college football because you just got all these different hodgepodges that do things instead of going, hey, here's the deal, and then you move forward.
But it's what makes this week weird for us. Like I had someone say, man, just write about football. It's like, okay, but you can't just write about football. The schedule literally was changed because of COVID.
Well, no, I mean, because it went to Zoom, and maybe anyway. I mean, this morning, Georgia, I said, has already had their press conferences. I was reading through Dash and some other people that were on them. And
it was Zoom, right?
It was Dan Lanning and Jordan Davis and somebody else. I don't remember who the other player was. And it was a lot of just, hey, well, are you guys vaccinated? Are you worried? Are you going to be all right? You going to play the game? And it wasn't like even a health thing. It was a logistical, can you get the game played thing. But, I mean, it was a lot of damn questions about it. I mean, it was essentially the entire press conference was that, and then asking Dan Lanning, how are you flipping back and forth between Oregon and Georgia? And he had a good point that actually because they're 3 hours different in time zones, he has a longer day and can do some morning and some afternoon, and it's not that difficult.
Sure.
Yes, the college football does need a czar. They do.
Yeah.
Not just a bowl czar, an overall czar.
Yeah. Or you could just stop some of the shenanigans, and you could have a Super League, and you could have a 12-team playoff, and have a commissioner, and call it a day.
We still have a czar. He'd be the czar. He'd be the commissioner.
It's fine.
Because not every NFL owner agreed probably with Goodell's decision.
No.
But
most.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But nobody went, hey, no, this is the deal. Moving forward.
Once you move forward, you move forward. Sure.
I think you and I both expect the game to be played, but I'd be really worried to put my finances on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I said 80%.
Probably about fair.
Maybe even a little more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fairly shocked.
But I'm not going to 100. Because all it takes is just a little bit of stuff. And
Would you go to 100 for any bowl game?
No.
Okay. Even the playoffs?
No, and I'm a cynic. I just know there's pressure on these people to look more concerned than you actually are. And that sometimes the desire for those appearances takes you into no man's land. Nobody on the Virginia football team is deathly ill. They're not.
It was Miami, Virginia, and Boston College that were the teams with the issue.
Boston College is 100% vaccinated.
They've been the most aggressive with all this of any team in the country.
Yeah.
They had mandatory vaccinations, hell, maybe even in the spring. It's been a long time.
They're 100%. I think the entire team is boosted.
Yeah, I think so,
and
too.
you're doing this. So this is either you just didn't want to play, at which point, why didn't you just say that originally? Because you could have declined a bowl bid. It's an invitation to play in the bowl. It's not a mandate. The bowl invites you. You have the option to say no. When you ask the girl out, she can say, no, I don't want to. You're hideous. That's allowed. Might hurt your feelings, but it is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to play in the bowl, say, no, we're good. We don't really want to play in the bowl. We don't want to play in the military bowl. We're going to close up shop and call it a day. Okay.
Yeah, we had a good year.
Had a year. Wasn't what we all anticipated, but we had a year, and we're going to end it. We're good. Been a long slog. We're going to go enjoy the holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Peace out. And then something provokes them to start some testing process, and all of a sudden, no, we don't have enough. Can't do it. Sorry, East Carolina. Your season ended. You just didn't know it. You thought you had earned a reward. You didn't. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's kind of like what A&M did. I mean, and I get it's one of the higher, compared to some of these other ones we're talking about, it's been the highest profile bowl to be canceled at this point. But it's also the highest payout. And again, this is not a huge number, but A&M pulling out of that game cost every SEC team $150,000, give or take.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not nothing.
I'd heard 200,000, but whatever.
Sure. It's A&M's travel taken out of $2.5 million and then divided in 15 shares because every team gets one and the SEC gets one. So it's
again, it's not life-changing money
but
for the SEC.
It paid some salaries,
but it's
something.
money.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
money.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, no, $200,000 at Ole Miss probably goes a long way inside the.
If you had a rule in place where it said A&M, hey, you're going to get docked $2.5 million for doing that.
Yeah, they might have said, you know what? Let's go play.
Yeah,
let's figure it out.
Maybe not, but maybe.
Let's figure it out.
I mean, I get to A&M, that's like 0.2% of their budget, but still.
So what motivates them to duck the game? What motivates Virginia to duck the game? Boston College. What is it that they're doing?
I don't know. I mean,
that's what I wonder. I mean, is it a big deal to Boston College that they lose to East Carolina? I mean, does anybody?
No.
Does that
I think
shape
for the most
anything,
part,
or what is it?
No, I think for the most part, it's decisions made at least with some public health measures in mind. I do, but most of them. A&M is the only one where I just don't. I just have my doubts.
I do too.
For whatever reason, and its reputation at this point, right, wrong, or
because of
indifferent.
last year.
Yeah. You go.
Come on.
And also, when I get it's the PR move, and I get almost every school would do this, I'm not even necessarily criticizing. But when Ross puts out the statement and includes all the transfers and the opt-outs and everything else in his number that's unavailable, I find that disingenuous.
I actually found it ingenuous because he's admitting it. Then where my criticism is, where's the people that go in and go, so this isn't about COVID? So why did you accept the bid?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have just told when the Gator Bowl called and said, hey, we'd love to invite you guys to sunny Jacksonville for a week of sun and surf and blah, 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 blah. Why didn't someone go, no, we're good. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we lost to Mississippi State and Arkansas.
And Calzada's in the portal.
Ole Miss and Calzada's in the portal. And Jimbo needs to watch another episode of Yellowstone. This just isn't going to happen. We're good. Thank you for the invitation, but we're going to pass. Instead, by using the word COVID, it's the media goes, oh, can't touch that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, everybody does this, gosh, good luck. I hope everyone is okay. Yes, everyone's okay. Which part of everyone's been okay have you missed?
Yeah.
This is where I lose my mind on this thing. And if it does, where does it ever end?
Yeah, just got my doubts. A&M at least. I don't know. The other ones I feel like it is something with at least some public health in mind, but I don't know. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC.com. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESPARC.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service is available, parental controls, network security, a wireless mesh extender, and much more. Call the office for details. And again, get the best internet around, 662-238-3159.
We're brought to you by ACS. It's owned and operated by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. Automation Control Systems, LLC is a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation Recognized System Integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. It's ACSLLCMS.com or 662-601-4381. Pinpoint Commercial Real Estate's based out of Jackson. They service the entire state in all commercial asset classes such as retail, office, industrial, and land. They've got properties such as Paragon Center in Ridgeland, Mississippi. It's located on Highland Colony Parkway, minutes from the new Costco, Walk-On Sports Bistro, I-55. If you want to learn more about Paragon, more about some of the commercial asset developments that they have, get in touch with Sam Cox, BB Mitchell, 601-586-3220. Also brought to you by our friends at Blue Delta Jeans. I know that the holiday is gone, but it's not the last time that you'll be giving gifts. You have birthdays, Valentine's Day coming up, all of that. You can still go to BlueDeltaJeans.com and you can get a video gift card. It's a gift card with a built-in video screen. You can purchase the gift card. Blue Delta will help you record a personalized message and upload the video card for you. It's a great concept, great presentation, perfect gift for a single person or a group of employees. It's BlueDeltaJeans.com to purchase or shoot the guys a DM on social media, and they'll get you taken care of. Also brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Again, we just mentioned Valentine's Day. That's now right around the corner. That's how this kind of happens. It comes at you fast. 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. Lammon's is the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. It was Christmas Day, and we noticed that the upstairs unit wasn't doing exactly what it needed to be doing here in balmy Mississippi. And I called it. I sent Eric a text, just like, hey, can I get on your list for next week? And he was like, hey, we can send somebody out there tomorrow. I was like, no, it's all good. I don't want you doing that. But that's the kind of service that you get from Comer. They will take care of you.
And that's anybody. It's not
just me.
Yeah, it's not just Neal.
Not just me. So if you live in Oxford, Tupelo, that area, get in touch with Comer. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Customer service means a ton to them. Comer 662-801-1777. Southern is 662-429-4429. The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day with the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. And we're brought to you by Pinnacle. Martin and I did a Mind on My Money on Thursday. We'll do another one this Thursday, kind of a year-in review, look ahead to 2022 from a financial standpoint. You can learn more about the people at Pinnacle at mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Nix Tan and Associates. That's nixtanoxford.com, 662-281-1200 for all your real estate needs here in the Oxford area, the buy side, the sell side. I've used them multiple times. Give them a chance as well. That's nixtanoxford.com, 662-281-1200.
Grind, thanks for the super chat. He says for getting the trivia question right on the Christmas show. He said he forgot to send it that night. It's all good. It was a fun show. It would have been a lot more fun if we hadn't lost the stream that one time, but it was still a lot of fun.
What was the trivia question?
I don't remember. I may have had some alcohol that day. Maybe a lot of it. It was a good day for game changer patches.
Did it work?
Yeah, they work. They really do. They work. Because the day that starts...
Because you've tested them like all the way out. Like you've had a lot of tequila, maybe a bottle and a half of champagne. I mean, you know, the whole deal. Like,
well,
see what
the
see
day
what
that starts with mimosas and then includes beer and then bourbon and then red wine. I mean, that's a recipe. That's a cocktail, if you will. I mean, that can get you if you're not prepared.
That's true. You also kind of forget how much you've had. Like, over the course of the day, it's like, oh.
Yeah, you just don't think about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did y'all have a good Christmas?
Yeah, busy. A little tired.
Carly Ann get all the things she wanted to get?
Mostly.
Was Santa busy putting stuff together the night before?
No. It was streamlined the hell out of that. Was done by, like, literally everything out, including stocking, in, like, 10 minutes.
Oh.
No. There was some pre-stuff done, like, really organized from that standpoint. Went swimmingly well.
So when Santa came down the chimney, he just...
just
he
magic.
Just had to just, boom.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
like
cool.
all done. Like no issues at all there. Also slept in.
Oh, good.
She did not get up until 8:25.
Wow.
Yeah, people tell me that's insane. That's not normal. I don't know.
Put something in her.
No, there was no codeine or anything that knocked her out. She was late getting to bed, but
Wasn't
it's like 8:20.
Wasn't like a late night Benadryl or something.
No. Didn't drug her this time.
Sometimes that has to be done.
Well, some of it is like the worry of not letting the child catch Santa. Like that's the worry.
Well, sure.
But no, it's so fast. It's like, hey, whatever. Because even if it comes down at like 10:30, oh god, look how fast Santa was. All right, cool. Like it was up by 8:40. I mean, it was done.
Well, I was following the Santa tracker.
You were?
Yeah, he was in the U.S. around 10 o'clock.
That's about right. How long does it take him to get the country done?
It appeared to be a couple of hours to get it all done in the U.S.
Okay.
Cats everywhere. Like you wake up on Christmas Eve and he's already been to like Australia and stuff.
Yeah.
He's already rolling.
That's true. I want to touch this quickly, and then we'll just kind of hit some other random stuff. No,
I
you're
jumped
fine.
around.
No, it's all. Yeah, because the December 27th podcast is the one that everybody's going to judge us on. Top 10 coaches in the country. I was going to point out this list. Lane Kiffin for next season is like 7.25. Is that right? I've got his term sheet, but I don't have it in front of me.
7.3, something like that. Whatever.
So the top 10 highest paid coaches in the country headed into 2022 because it obviously jumps and moves around a little bit. Dan Mullen was on this list just a few months ago. My, how things change. Ryan Day is number 10 at $7.6 million. So that is where you got to get to start the top 10. So Lane is going to be somewhere 11 to 15-ish. And frankly, Lane probably has a better compensation escalator package than most coaches. When you get $100,000 for beating Georgia Tech,
yeah,
it's a pretty good situation in your contract. You get $200. He's guaranteed close to $200,000 just off season tickets.
Yeah, he's making $8.
Yeah, you get up into 7.6, 7.7 pretty damn quick when you're going through it.
Yeah.
So Ohio State 7.6. Mario Cristobal, new head coach at Miami, $8 million is the number they ended up paying Cristobal in Miami.
Yep.
James Franklin at Penn State, he is at $8.5 million at this point.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he is tied with Dabo Swinney. So far, James is the one where you go, oh.
Yeah.
I think we'll get on down the list in a second, but for now, that's the one. Actually, this is the one. $9 million to David Shaw at Stanford.
Ooh. Who's his agent?
Someone
did a job.
That's cooking right there now. $9 million for David Shaw.
I do think David Shaw's a much better coach than the numbers indicate.
He is a really good coach.
Winning at Stanford right now today is very hard.
Yeah, no, he's a hell of a coach. I do think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually.
Like if David Shaw picked up the phone and called
almost damn anybody.
McCready and said, "Hey, I kind of want to be your head coach."
We'll talk about it.
Hey,
can we meet
somewhere?
Yeah, meet me in Dubuque and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Jimbo, $9 million for next season.
Yep.
Mel Tucker, $9.5 million off one season.
Again,
credit to Mel Tucker, and when I look at Michigan State, I go, really?
Jimmy Sexton's really good at what he does.
Yeah. Brian Kelly, $9.5 million, LSU.
Yep.
Nick Saban, they do a lot of funny money, so his number is higher than this. He's listed at number 2 in the country at $9.9 million.
He's making more.
He makes more than $9.9 million.
Yeah.
And he's underpaid.
For sure.
And then number 1, Lincoln Riley, just over 10.
Yeah.
So that is the.
And everybody makes fun of Lincoln, and he looks at everybody and goes, "Come on." Fight on. Look at me.
I told you, it was the most unintentional comedy ever of him getting on the airplane to fly to L.A. from Norman, and our buddies with Carrie and Sooner Scoop, they had put the video out, and they're wearing the Oklahoma stuff still to the airport. Like, you got the OU on the front of the car or whatever, and they got on the plane and just started pulling pullovers off and doing the whole deal, and it's...
mercenaries.
Just change the logo on the chest, and here's
off
the new pitch.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
Everybody makes fun of him, and I don't get it. He won.
He won.
He walks away from losing Bedlam, and 48 hours later, he's making $10 million. That's a victory. That's getting it done. So, and with that comes a lot of pressure. You're expected to win and win immediately. That's why, frankly, out of that list, I now come away from this going, and let me finish this point before he loses their mind. Is the best job in the country Texas A&M? You get $9 million. There's not a ton of expectation, really.
But there is. They just don't hit it.
But they don't punish you for it. He lost to Mississippi State, Arkansas,
They
LSU,
are giving
and
him
Ole
a
Miss.
ton of time based off recruiting rankings.
Well, he's recruiting really good.
Yeah.
But apparently not good enough to have a big enough team to go to Jacksonville to play Wake Forest. And everybody's like, it's all good. Is it possible that because that fan base, while it might be kind of weird and cultish, and that I'm being nice, they're also a really nice cult, and they're so nice that there's just not a lot of pressure? They gave Kevin Sumlin a lot of time. Now they're giving Jimbo what, because LSU wanted Jimbo, they're like, we'll give you anything you want.
You know why? Because they've never actually freaking won. They don't have the blood in their mouth. They've never actually done it where it's like...
is that the best job? If you pay me $9 million and say, we want you to win, here's the difference.
Now, the end is going to be spectacular and awful whenever you are fired. But you're still getting paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean...
Again, it's kind of like, you're going to throw a chair at me? Like I walk in, you go, hey, you're out. Okay, you're paying me? Cool. All right.
We owe you $57
Can I
million.
hug you before I leave?
Yeah, we owe you $57 million. We're kind of hoping maybe you would say something nice on social media. That's the end? Okay. I mean, from what you just said to me, I now go, hey, that's the best job.
Because
if Ryan Day has a bad season at Ohio State, they're talking about firing him.
Yeah.
Hell, if Nick Saban loses 4 games, there's a segment of that fan base that's going, maybe
washed up.
Maybe he's too old.
We appreciate him, but
I mean, tell me the list again. Give me the schools.
Yeah, sure.
USC, Alabama.
All right, hold on. Ohio State.
They demand you to win.
Miami.
I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
James Franklin, Penn State.
I'm kind of in the Texas A&M market here.
Penn State's
I mean, they're paying him $8.5 million, and they're like, we kind
of. He won the Big Ten in year 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's not beating anybody in the Big Ten right now. They're playing in the Outback Bowl.
They are
as a 2-point favorite. Most everybody thinks they're going to lose.
Yeah. Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. Count me in on list of good jobs.
Clemson. That's a whole different deal.
Okay, but what if is Dabo in trouble if he has another bad season? Probably not.
I don't think he's in trouble, but I do think that Clemson is one of those schools that if you want to go into this alternate reality where we go whatever, Clemson's kind of like maybe what Ole Miss or some of those teams could, like that's sort of the ceiling to that. But the point is, it's so easy to kind of fall off that perch at some point too, to at least from that level, that I don't know that he's not in trouble with one more bad season, but I do believe he is. I think that program falls that notch, maybe permanently until you find a way to build it back up. I think it goes back into that tier of 9-3 suddenly if he has another bad year.
Okay.
Stanford, I don't even know how to quantify that.
No, again, I
that's
think,
such a different deal.
I think David Shell's a really good coach.
I mean, that's like saying, hey, if James Franklin won 9 games a year at Vanderbilt, is he worth $8.5 million? And you go, well, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They're never winning a title, but look what everybody else does there.
Yeah.
And now look, Harbaugh won there too.
He did.
I mean, he had Andrew Luck, but he gets credit for it.
Sure.
Jimbo.
Part of it is recruiting players.
Michigan State. That's a train wreck. That is going to be an absolute freaking train wreck. They're going to fire him in like 2 years.
I hope Mel Tucker never finds you in a dark alley somewhere.
He would beat my ass. But
well, he would, yeah. My money's on Mel.
Yeah, but it's a train wreck. That was such a reactionary raise, in a way.
Well, that was...
They were worried about him going to LSU, and they paid him to not go to LSU.
And there was a reason to worry.
Yeah, I get it.
The chancellor at LSU wanted to hire him.
And maybe they've got enough money, they go, oh, the hell with it. Who cares? Okay, we'll just pay him and we'll move on and whatever.
Yeah, sure.
That's possible.
You can win there. The guy before him won there for a while.
Yeah, Brian Kelly.
Whatever.
Whew.
LSU, though, is not, to my point.
Yeah, no.
At LSU, if Brian Kelly goes 7-5 next year, they're already going to be talking about this being a disaster.
If Brian Kelly in year 4 even beats Alabama and Auburn and then loses to Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and A&M, they go, whoa.
They're going to fire him.
Yeah, whoa, what was that?
They're going to fire him. They're not going to give him a raise.
Not going to be worried about him leaving.
Marine Rebel, thanks for the super chat. He says, to answer the question from earlier, the pandemic won't end until new politicians are elected. I can't argue that.
That's a good point. I mean, with Clemson's talent, 9-3 in the ACC.
Yeah, sure.
Things didn't go well.
No, absolutely not.
As Grind points out, Wake and Pitt are in the title game.
They didn't get the quarterback play that they thought they would get. They didn't get...
That is kind of an interesting year when you look at it. I mean, take this all the way through. and I'm undervaluing one of these teams, but just from a public perception standpoint. In the Power 5, we got title game participants. Pitt, Wake, Utah, Baylor, and Oklahoma State.
Yep.
5 of the 10.
Yep.
Fairly remarkable. Something you typically would not
For those that want parity, there's
a conference level of parity there.
Sure.
You know, no SC, no Texas, no Oklahoma, no Clemson, no Miami, Florida State. You know, all the whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, Clemson didn't fall off the map.
No, that's fine.
I mean, they're
playing Iowa State.
It's actually a really good game.
It is a good game. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
When's that game?
I don't know.
30th?
The running back for Iowa State's out, but that's all I really remember from that.
Yeah, it's on the 29th, Wednesday the 29th at 4:45.
It is.
The Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando.
Okay.
So 4 teams can congregate in Orlando this week.
Oh, there's 2 Orlando games.
Yeah, because they got the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah. New Orleans had 2 bowls. The New Orleans Bowl still a thing?
Did they play it?
I don't know. When is it?
Yeah, I remember that was earlier in the process.
It was like the 17th or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Podcast brought to you in part by Johnston Hill Creamery, johnstonhillcreamery.com, right there on White Oak Lane off Molly Bar in Oxford. Hope you took advantage of all their different holiday boxes they had. Phenomenal options there with that, and they make all their cheese in-house. It uses Brown Dairy Farm milk, local ingredients, and much more here with their add-on items, the pepper jelly, the spiced honey, and many more things. You also do a cheese class. If you got a group of up to 12, you can learn how to put things together. You can learn about the different cheeses and have a big time with a group of people. 662-419-9201. Email cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com or just stop by and check them out.
We are also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're already thinking about that summer vacation, I know a lot of people are because I've gotten your emails, get in touch with John. He'll give you, all you got to do is give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to give you tons of options. As much as you don't want to deal with, vaccine regulations and all of that stuff, it is part of travel. John knows all of the details, whether you're looking in the Caribbean or Europe or whatever the case may be. He can take care of all of that for you. You can sit back and do nothing while he comes up with options for you. It's 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Also brought to you by OPA, Oxford's newest restaurant on the historic square. A delicious menu featuring gyros, wraps, kebabs, fresh redfish, lamb chops, and more. Awesome bar serving your favorite handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, and amazing candlelit patio. 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse in Oxford. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors sponsors my weekly mailbag. She's serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573, 662-842-3844. Service Specialist is recruiting both an executive director and a director of sales for a brand new independent living community in Oxford, seeking individuals with strong sales experience and or extensive managerial, administration, operations, execution background. Senior living experience is preferred, but it's not required. Those of you that want to move to Oxford and lead the opening of a major business development with a successful company, this is your opportunity. Excellent pay and benefits. Referral fees are always given. Reach out to 662-832-5138 with interest. And we're brought to you by Alpha Specialties, 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. They're your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it at Alpha. It's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi, 601-932-9798, or check them out at alphaofms.com. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment, financing available at corinthdental.com. And make sure you don't miss the deadline for signing up for 2022 Youth Spring Soccer with the Oxford Park Commission. January the 2nd is the final day to register your children for the next season. If your children participated in the fall, they can return for just $25. All new participants are $50. Leagues are open for birth years 2018 to 2007. So go to oxfordparkcommission.com to register.
Look at playoff picture to tomorrow in the NFL. Actually, a pretty crazy kind of weekend from that.
See my Bengals? My Bengals are rolling. Joe Burrow threw for 500 plus against the Ravens. Say what you want.
That one's going to work out.
Your Saints would love Joe Burrow now.
Oh, God, dude. I would actually be interested in the playoff picture if Joe Burrow was the quarterback. I got Ian Book starting tonight.
I'm going to tell you, the Bengals offense, Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Mixon and the big tight end, what's his name, Chihuahua or something like that. Forgive me if you're listening. I can't pronounce your name. He's probably not. He's probably asleep. That offense is legit. That is a bunch of weapons. Jamar Chase is a bad man. And T. Higgins is just a notch below him, and not a big notch.
T.
Higgins makes plays. And Burrow believes in every one of those guys. You drop one,
you're riding the right horse now with them instead of the Bears.
Oh yeah, the Bears suck. Although they did win last night in Seattle.
They did. Yes, that is correct.
That was a fun game because the snow was falling and stuff.
I did really enjoy Ian Book's quote. They asked him, something about starting or whatever, and he goes, "Well, I could count, and I knew I was the only one left."
Did you see where they reached out to Drew Brees?
Yeah, I followed Jeff Duncan's little thing on that. I get it, honestly, in a stupid way. It was one game to start because they got Simeon and Taysom Hill are both in COVID protocol. They're out for a game. They should both be back next week. So it's Ian Book and Mark Ingram running the Wildcat tonight. I don't know.
Who do they play tonight?
The Dolphins.
Oh, that's right.
And frankly, if they're going to actually make,
because you were going to go to the game,
I was going to go to the game.
Yeah.
If they're gonna make a run, they probably have to win this game tonight. They've got a pretty easy schedule coming home, but
I was going to try to get a ticket and go to the game tonight.
Yeah. So, it's hard to when you know they can't win in the playoffs. It's hard to get overly invested.
Sure.
Like maybe I'm spoiled, but it's like okay, like
what would the playoff picture be right now? Do you have it?
Yeah, I had it up.
I'm curious.
In case we were going to talk about it. By the way, the line has moved to Ole Miss is a 1-point favorite, by the way.
It was pick 'em forever.
Yeah, it's moved to Ole Miss at 1 now is where we are. All right, so playoff picture today in the NFL.
By the way, to me, Ole Miss -1 is just
Free
a
money.
lock. It's a lock.
Yeah, I think they're winning.
I do too.
Kansas City and Tennessee, there's only one bye. I apologize. I forget they've moved it. Kansas City would get the bye. They hammered Pittsburgh yesterday.
Yeah.
They are 11-4, and then your first round games today would be Tennessee hosting Baltimore.
Okay.
Cincinnati is the 3 seed right now. They would be hosting the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
And
because New England with Mac Jones is kind of like New England played Buffalo yesterday, and I watched a good bit of it.
Buffalo kind of controlled it.
Yeah. New England's just kind of there.
Yeah. Buffalo was the better team.
For sure.
And then speaking of, they would host the Indianapolis Colts today.
Buffalo and the Colts? Sign me up.
Yeah.
I said this the other day. The Colts right now is one team I would not want to run into. They're physical. They can run the football, and they're pretty good on defense. That carries in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And then it's a cluster, though. You've got Baltimore at 8-7. You also have the L.A. Chargers with a horrific loss yesterday at 8-7, and then the Las Vegas Raiders at 8-7 too. Mm-hmm. And then you've got 7-7s too. Like it's a mess in the AFC for those spots. And then in the NFC, the Packers have a pretty firm hold on first place right now in the league.
They're the best team.
They're 12-3, and then your playoff games. It depends on tonight's game.
Let's give the Saints a win.
If the Saints win, they are the 7 seed. They would get in. They would go to Dallas in the first round.
Ooh.
Cowboys, Saints. Hard to keep up in that one. I don't like the chances in Jerry World. And then in the 3-6 game, the LA Rams would host the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that'd be a brawl right there. The Rams are so interesting because Stafford can go brain dead. I mean, he had 3 picks yesterday. They completely dominated that game and had a punt return for a touchdown and still barely won the game. I mean, it was a mess for them yesterday, but they're 11-4 now. They've taken advantage of the Cardinals just floundering at this point in the season. Tampa Bay has clinched the NFC South at this point. They would host the Arizona Cardinals in a first-round game. So your first-round games, Cowboys, Saints, or Eagles. Rams, 49ers, Bucks, Cardinals is your NFC game.
I'd watch Bucks Cardinals too.
And then the Vikings are kind of lingering, but at the moment it's Eagles or Saints, depending on tonight for that one. The Saints have weird steroids of tiebreakers because they beat Tampa Bay and they beat Green Bay. So they're sitting in a really interesting spot from a tiebreaker standpoint because of those wins. But that is where it's sitting. Dallas crushing Washington last night.
Yeah.
I don't know what the final was. I saw 56-7.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't see that in the NFL much.
No. Yeah, it was. Somebody mentioned was like, "Hey, have you watched this?" I'm like, "No, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, that's going on."
All right, I'm going to admit that I'm losing my man card here.
Yeah, sure.
But Laura's been wanting to start 1883, the show.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, finally, I'll watch. I couldn't get through 5 minutes of that show.
I haven't tried.
Bows and arrows, guns, hanging people. I'm like, this is not for me.
Not your thing.
No.
You got to give it a chance.
Well, she got mad at me. She's like, well, it's, I watched.
How many episodes?
I made it through 5 minutes of the first episode.
I know, but how many are there?
Too damn many.
Because there are some shows where it's like, hey, look, the first 3 episodes kind of suck, but you got to get through them to get to.
Okay.
And that's hard.
I did that once.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the guy that wants to watch Family Guy. I mean.
Easy television.
Easy, yeah. Funny, light. I said, I'm going to have nightmares all night watching this. And I know it's super popular, like Yellowstone and all that stuff, but like, it's just murder over and over and over and over. I don't really want to watch that.
I've not watched anything on Paramount yet. I've not watched any Yellowstone. I tell you, the only thing we've turned on Paramount was Carly Ann wanted to watch Clifford the Big Red Dog the other day.
See, I like Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah,
that's my speed.
That is what.
That's my speed. I mean, I always liked it. I mean, when the kids were little, we'd watch Dora the Explorer, and I'd be like, yeah. I'm
I see
in.
the appeal. Okay,
yeah, I get it. Oh, there's Swiper. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's about as much violence as I need. Swiper's going to swipe your stuff. Unless you say Swiper, no swiping, Swiper, no swiping. And then he goes, oh, man, that means you averted disaster.
last thing, kind of curious what your answer is. This is blowing up on Twitter over the course of the weekend. Somebody asked this because I had to think about mine. The question was sports season that gives you the most joy of your life.
Oh.
But it can't be a championship.
Okay.
What do you got? I had to really think about this.
So there'd be two for me.
Okay.
It'd be the 1984 Cubs.
Which what happened?
They won the National League East, went to the National League Championship Series. Back then it was a best of 5. Mm-hmm. And they won the first 2 games and then lost 3 in a row to San Diego. But that season, I was 14. That season, I'd started following the Cubs years before when WGN – I was a Cub fan before WGN, and then WGN cemented it. And that season, it was just this perfect year. They had this young second baseman named Ryan Sandberg who had come up the year before. He won MVP and all that stuff that year. They had Andre Dawson was on that team. I loved the Hawk. They had some of the former Dodgers. I grew up in a time when if you wanted to watch Major League Baseball, you watched the NBC Game of the Week and you watched Monday Night Baseball. And a lot of times Monday Night Baseball was the Dodgers or the Yankees. That's who it was. That's who you saw. And so they had Ron Cey, who I'd seen as a Dodger all those years, and he's now the Cubs' third baseman. And I just liked that team. And they were fun. And so I'd watch them every day. And it was like a thing for me. And so that was an enjoyable one. But the one that I think for me would be the 2015 Cubs.
Okay.
They
lose in the LCS.
Lost in the NLCS. They got swept by the Mets.
Yeah.
But they kind of came out of nowhere in the second half and played great, won 97 games.
Beat the Cardinals.
Beat the Pirates in that wild card game. I was actually in Chicago that night. The game was in Pittsburgh, but I was in Chicago that night because I was going to run the marathon. And they beat the Cardinals in that series, which was awesome. So it'd probably be that year. All those guys were young, and you thought, the sky's the limit. They're going to be this way forever. The other one would probably be the year the Thunder went to the finals. That was a lot of fun to follow a team.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that one for you. It's one of 2 Saints seasons. There are 2. 2000, they won their first ever playoff game. The Saints had literally never won a playoff game before 2000. They beat the the Rams when Oz Hakeem fumbled the ball and the whole deal. They had the big lead, almost blew it, ended up winning the game. And then they got hammered by the Vikings the next week. But that one for sure, just to finally get the playoff win, because it was Aaron Brooks and those guys. Like, you didn't think it was going to be some run, but they had a good year. They did that. And then 2006, they beat the Eagles, lose to the Bears in an NFC title game. But it's Breeze, it's Peyton, and it's the first time, frankly, since the Dome Patrol in the early 90s where you felt like they're building to something, and it was actually coming.
I covered a lot of that team, and I was in the Dome that night when they beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
And that is the loudest stadium I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about the stadium, the press box shook.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's kind of hyperbole. That press box shook.
Yeah. They beat them 27-24.
Yes.
Zeus had a good game.
Jeff Garcia had a great game for the Eagles and damn near ruined the party.
Yeah. And it was that, like, the early in the game was when Bush got laid out on that swing pass.
Yeah.
They threw that, and he almost basically got decapitated. They ended up winning the game, 27-24, and then just getting mauled by the Bears, 39-14 the next week in the NFC title game, which you were at that game too.
Yeah.
But it's one of those. It sure as hell wasn't some of these recent ones.
That was the weird game to cover too, because they just did not have
Rex
enough.
Grossman.
They just did not have enough room in the press box for everybody, and so they had this auxiliary press box, and which was just a room underneath the stadium. And I asked finally, I was like, "So can I get out?" And they were like, "Yeah, do whatever you want to do."
What'd you do?
I was like, "Cool." So I got out and spent the game walking around the stadium.
Like, did you really?
Kind of going to different sections and seeing different. And it got loud.
What'd you write?
Wrote about Fred Thomas, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Remember he got burned a couple of times in that game and was really super down. And that it was a weird locker room. An NFL locker room, losing NFL locker room in a championship game is a different place. It was a very somber.
There's almost you understand your mortality as it goes to opportunities.
Yeah, it was a very angry locker room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people were angry there was offense versus defense anger and vice versa. You could feel it in the room.
They were never in the game, though.
Well, they were for a while, and then it got away. When Reggie Bush made the play where he turned and waved at Urlacher,
did the flip or whatever.
They were in it. Soldier Field was quiet in that moment.
Really good defensive Bears team. They ended up losing.
But that was a good Saints team, and
and
the weather impacted them some because it was very windy that day. There was a front kind of blowing in. It wasn't as cold as people thought it was going to be. And then I remember walking back to my hotel, and it was snowing.
Yeah, Breeze was not very good that day, best I recall.
Yeah, no, he was not good. I was there on
because I convinced myself all week they were in great because he was a Big Ten quarterback. That was my spiel for the week.
They sent me on Friday, and so I got there, and they wanted me to do a story because I guess that was post Katrina. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
it was 2 years after.
I basically stumbled into a great story because I went into this bar in Chicago and I told them what I was working on, and people were like, "You know what? I'm sick of hearing about Katrina." And they're like, "I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm sorry, but I want to beat the Saints. I don't have the sympathy card." And I got to lead with, nobody's feeling sorry for New Orleans anymore. And the Bears, it was that as the Bears became obvious the Bears were going to win that game, that place got rowdy.
So as we're talking through it, it's that season. Because, like I said, you're building, and you got to realize, too, for the Saints fan, it was Katrina, and then it was that weird-ass season where they played half their games in Baton Rouge and half on the road or whatever it was they did.
Yeah.
Or San Antonio. You'd think they're going to be the San Antonio Saints for a damn minute because of Tom Benson.
Well, they kind of were.
You get the NFL to rig the draft for you so you can take Reggie Bush. And then, I mean, it all just kind of worked out there in a row. Saban doesn't end up with Breeze, the shoulder. I mean, it was.
So what was in it for Houston to take Mario Williams?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's the problem with that conspiracy theory is Houston had to go, yeah, we'll take it. Sure.
I mean, I guess I got something. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of little weird things that week where I went,
yeah.
I'm not a big conspiracy person, but I might believe in that one. I'm just saying.
Thanks to our buddy Webb Moore. He says, guys, I've been MIA between work, a house full of COVID, Christmas, and just life in general. Best to both of you. Thank you for such an amazing show that is not a bunch of fanboys. Peanuts on the way. Honey roasted. Okay, yeah, honey roasted.
They are fantastic.
I think they're the best.
Yeah, they are amazing.
And he says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Webb.
Feel free to plug them in the chat, Webb. If you'd
Absolutely.
Like to send some links and different things. They are fantastic. Yeah, I think that's my answer as I'm going through it. I definitely do. We've been on for an hour and 24 minutes, JM, so you're catching the very, very, very end here. We went normal time this morning. We will go normal time tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we'll go normal through Thursday morning, and then we'll figure out the rest of the week. I don't really know, and
we'll see.
You're not going down, right?
No, not on the 30th for sure.
Yeah.
No. We're good. Because I read that wrong yesterday. The more we talked through it, because I thought they were being even dumber yesterday and doing the 30th in person.
No.
And only the 28th, the 29th on
There's
whatever.
Nothing in person until post game.
Yeah, right. Because we've been over that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 2 players, coach. Moving from there.
So there will be media who will go down today
and sit there and do the Zoom
and sit in their hotel rooms and do Zoom.
Yes.
And it's insanity. There's number one, I have a better internet connection here.
Mm-hmm.
I can do more for our subscribers and listeners and viewers than I can there. So when you take away the in-person, there's no reason to go. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed. I think I was looking forward to going.
There was a really big fun of the entire week being normal.
That was
being
the word.
Where we just do the normal press conferences in person and everything's cool. And
yeah.
Getting to walk around to a group of people and asking your own questions. I don't think people again, you're not in our world of what we do.
Yeah.
That is so missed right now that you could just go, hey, I'm going to walk up to you by myself and just ask you whatever the hell I want to ask you.
Here's the difference. It's getting to have a conversation. On Zoom, it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very fragmented. Yeah. You raise your hand, you get called on.
The flow is terrible.
There is no flow. You ask a question, and every once in a while you'll get to ask a follow-up, but usually you don't because they go to the next question. And I could be asking about something and then somebody else, and then if I can raise my hand again, and if I get called on again, I can come back and go, so, Lane, back to what we were talking about a minute ago, which has not only messed up my flow, but it messes up his thinking or whoever I'm talking to.
Yeah.
It's very frankly.
There was going to be something pretty cool about being there yesterday, dealing with today, tomorrow, having days of it, kind of getting lost.
No, we were having the conversation on the board yesterday. I was talking to Pete, I guess, in the board. I think I was excited more than I thought I was about the return to normalcy. I viewed it as kind of a launching pad to normal. Like our deal with Kermit today or tomorrow. Ole Miss opens SEC play in basketball on Wednesday against Florida. It's on Zoom. So are we going back to Zoom on everything now? What are we doing? And I think I've been working on my 10 weekend thoughts year-end edition, which is kind of long and laborious. If you remember back in the summer, we thought, hey, we're going to have normal. I'm going to go to all the games. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then Delta came around. And it's, no, we're locking down again. We're shutting down. Everything's on Zoom. No road access, nothing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, one more the next time. And now it feels like, okay, well, now what's after this? Are we going back to that where all basketball's on Zoom? Or what are we doing? Because I'm not going to go to a basketball arena to cover a game, to get on a Zoom call, to talk to someone who's been in the same building with me for 2 hours. I'm just not. You know me. I'm pragmatically, I don't think that way, and I just can't do it. So it's dumb. I'm going to drive to New Orleans, get into a hotel room, and get on Zoom calls. Mm-hmm. Just senseless.
Yeah. But no, there'll be something to it, for damn sure. So.
People have asked what we're doing with the show. The show's ready. What I'm probably going to do is drop it one night this week, and
I think the 30th makes sense.
Yeah, some people want Pete early because I had promised it early. I've gotten that email a few times, so I might drop it tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. It's good though. Pete was really, really good, and all those guys were, frankly.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the podcast. We will talk to you then as we head toward January 1st. Hopefully no surprises today and the rest of the week. So appreciate you guys here. And what's probably the least effective work week of the year, I would think. The week between Christmas and New Year's when people actually have to get in the office.
Would think so.
I think this is the one. So hope all of you survived the rest of the days. If you had to head into work today, maybe we helped out with that for a little while. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.